Ami was born on 28 January 1941 in walled Peshawar city. Her father, Hafiz Ghulam Rasool, was a religious scholar, a Hakim by profession, and six successive Hufaz-e-Quran ancestry. He was a student of Ustaz al-Hafaz Muhammad Bakhsh and Maulana Abdul Hakim Popalzai, and is mentioned in a book on distinguished Hufaz scholars of Peshawar written by Maulvi Amir Shah Gilani, the Maulvi Ji. Ami's mother Ghulam Fatma was from a noble family of Uzbek origin who had migrated to Peshawar as a little girl with her parents, wishing to preserve their Islamic faith in the wake of the 1917 Red Revolution. Ami, named Saida, was third of the three girls born to her parents. Her father died when she was only 2 years. All she remembered was, I stood by his deathbed, holding on to one of the legs of the bed that was about my height. This was the first episode of her struggles in life. On June 7, 1957, at the age of 16, after completing primary education at school and middle level at home, she was married to second cousin Abdullah Jan, a businessman 12 years older to her. Her handsome and affluent husband followed a typical 1950s-60s modernist lifestyle, and as she moved into a large extended family of in-laws, that put some social pressure on the young Saida Begum. This pressure added emotionally, psychologically, when she had a premature, stillborn first baby. She also lost her second and the third babies when they were 8 and 10 months, respectively, unnursed by her, as some dominating women-in-law cherishing the arrival of these babies would take over their care, but couldn't do enough like a mother. She lost three babies while she was still in her teens. Thereon, she dedicated exclusive attention to the fourth child, that was me, born on 1st February 1962. This time, she took her stand to feed me for 2 complete years with no bottle feeding. She celebrated my survival and fostered me with bedtime stories and anecdotes of valuing empathy, sense of responsibility, and standing up for the truth. Faria, our only sister of seven brothers, Amir, Ali, and Umar followed. All survived except Amir, who died of pneumonia complications aged 1 year. These 10 years onwards to marriage was the second episode of her struggles, through the course of which she was treated by Dr. Shafiq, the first psychiatrist in Peshawar. My father had business and health losses, and he died of a heart attack on 27 October 1976, aged 47, leaving me widowed at 35 with four young children and in debt. We had to revert to the same joint family abode. This was the start of a third episode of struggles lasting 10 years. Designing and sewing clothes for infants in near family for free was her pastime. Perhaps a clinical psychologist could easily tell the reason why. But now this pastime and her favorite puff machine became our source of living. Diligently and honorably, she declined all financial support from near family and equally made sure that her children continued on with best available schooling as clear priority. Quality of our higher education was her mission of life that was alhamdulillah achieved through the course of time, as all her children went to England for higher studies. I did MS and PhD from Lancaster University, making it both to the Commonwealth Academic Scholarship and the Fellowship. Faria received Commonwealth Professional Development Fellowship to specialize in social gerontology at Keele University. My wife, Dr. Khadija, completed MPH from Leeds Beckett University. Ali and his wife went to University of Central Lancashire, and Umar made it to the University of Oxford. Ami was invited by Lancaster University in 1992 to attend my graduation ceremony. During her 1 month stay, she made friends with local and overseas families. This included Dr. Ali al-Shahrani family. Ali's young children, Munira and Faiz, would call her Jadda, meaning grandmother in Arabic. This name became a legacy for all her grandchildren to follow in the later years. She did her first Umrah on our way back to Pakistan. In 1993, she visited England again with the rest of the family, and at the age of 52, she took a 9-month beginner's English language course for Lancaster University's International Wives Group. As she was a mother, the university conscientiously renamed the forum to International Women's Group. Ami loved this experience, taking classes regularly and feeding birds at the duck pond on the way back, with Faria assisting logistics. She would keenly ask me for her £1 pocket money for every visit to the university. She was taught by Tina Fry and was given extra tuition at home by a student volunteer, Claire Muller. The certificate was awarded by the wife of the university's vice chancellor. Moving on, she would keep persuading me for employment in Saudi Arabia so that not only she performs her Hajj and Umrah frequently but also lives there. This happened in 2010 when we all moved to Jeddah, her namesake, whereby with all family she performed Hajj in 2011. And as she wanted as well to visit religious sites and follow trails of the prophets mentioned in the Holy Quran, all our family traveled from Jeddah to North Jordan by road in 2012. She reckoned the two events to be her life's best experiences. We started off the 7-day trip with Medina Munawwara, covering the old Khyber Castle, Madan Saleh, Tabuk, the White Desert, Aqaba, Petra, the Dead Sea, the cave of Ashab al-Kahf, and Al-Qais Castle, with views of Lake Tiberias, Golan Heights, and Mount of Khalid, where the Battle of Yarmouk took place, finishing off at Irbid with our hosts. In 2012, Ami was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, a disease that had already impacted her for some time. Her treatment started at King Abdulaziz University Hospital. After 7 years in Jeddah with a Hajj and 60 plus Umrahs, we returned to Pakistan in 2017. She would hardly be able to walk and was mostly in the wheelchair or in bed. Through the passage of over 6 years, her mental and physical capacities shuttered down one after the other. Her disease went from bad to worse. Faria was 60-60 24/7 glued to her, while Khadija and I backed up. Her kisses on my cheek started to get fainter and ultimately vanished. Her voice was no more. She kept struggling to express her love, and as a brave lady, she took on the disease. Alhamdulillah, miracles happened for us that we needed the most. She developed pneumonia in the last week of January 2024, whereby her room was practically turned into ICU. Khadija was in charge of her medical care with her elder sister Dr. Fatima and a nurse visiting on daily basis. Khadija was held by Sarah, who had then finished her house job. Ami moved on to her final abode and to her true life in the evening of 7 February 2024, the Shab-e-Miraj. Her soul left quietly without a whisper. All family was around her, Omar holding her one hand and Maryam another. Her decease was the fourth and the last episode of struggles in life. Ami was loved and respected by all. She was called Baji in near circles of friends and relatives, and Jeddah by her grandchildren. She had piety and generosity in her genes. Courage, hospitality, critical insight, diligence, and standing up for the truth and charity were her strong personality traits. Thoroughly religious, she recited the Holy Quran regularly. Surah Yasin was her most favorite. She also read history and Urdu fiction in her early years of marriage. She was quite artistic, and some of her unique skills were aesthetic value addition to ordinary things, and aligning and stacking up stuff for space economy. She was a skillful photographer and had a beautiful handwriting. Her favorite color was white, followed only by baby pink. Her favorite fruit was citrus. She gave me a revolver as gift on my PhD award. She was quite a reserved person, and it was only on the occasion of Ayaz's wedding that she couldn't hold her joy and danced. She had raised Ayaz as a son when he was a toddler. We continue to celebrate her life and her presence with us through her blessings and remembrance, as we also wait to join her to the absolute truth. This memoir is dedicated to all mothers. Every mother is precious, and there are many who had even more challenging lives in comparison to hers. Finally, some advice. There is a mention in the Holy Quran to give your elderly parents your personal company courteously, and that our love and care for our parents can never be enough.